Hello, my fellow YouTubers, my TikTokers, and my friends. I have this little EMOT from a microwave transformer. They are so heavy. And I was trying to get it to stick. And I kept trying. Wouldn't do it. But the secret was in this back coil, I closed looped it. So I'm connected to the ground chassis of this caisson and the wire that's the other end of this 2000 volt turn wire there. And the other end's connected to this LED on the positive side, and the negative side's coming back down to the chassis, which is the ground, which is now magnetically stuck to Ed's PMH with nothing but the energy trapped in the iron race car right now, keeping this thing up. I'm telling you, monumental. This thing is more than the 15-pound weight. This thing it's crazy. So it has a coil on the back side if you want to analyze it, and now it's the keeper bar with a coil in it. That's enough turns in that coil right there to produce 2,000 volts with 120 volts going in as transformer action. So now we have transformer action in static state. Static state, because that ain't a magnet. This is not a magnet. The charge was just to attract the iron to that iron. So riddle me this, my Batmans, my Robins out there, my killers. Where's the energy trapped? How's it holding up a microwave transformer? And whoever had one in their hands, they know how heavy this is. And where's the energy? What kind of energy is it? Is it electrons? If it ain't electrons, then what is it? Is it just magnetism? Is it electrostatic / magnetism? If I break the surface off, does a charge come back through this coil and light up the LED? Does the charge go backwards that way and produce electricity? So if I put a load on this end of this coil, will that coil be reacting to this coil? Is it a tank circuit? Can we add a capacitor to it? Ooh, how exciting. I feel like I'm reading a poetry book. Of course, you can't add these capacitors because they're not really capacitors unless they're magnetically charged, but the earth will take care of those. What we'll have to do is make some electrolytic capacitor. That's a tight spring capacitor that'll take a sudden charge electrolytically and store it. And we'll go from there. There's a lot to be learned here through these processes of doing whatever I want to this wheel. So, where else do you get a classroom like I have? Is the power in there, the energy, infinity? Is it perpetual? Leave me your comments. Perpetual. Of course it's perpetual. If you don't disturb this, this will stay forever. Ever. The energy will never leave unless it's broken. The path is broken. Now look, we have an E-core with a coil in there. That means there's area in here to explore to see. Well, for instance, let me grab a compass. compass would be the first thing I would start with. Just work your way around the fields. Ooh, look what we have here, my buds. And the sumbitch is moving. We got energy moving. Not there. Put this here. All right, let's. So we have north running there. So the north is on this prong end, not here, on this one. And then that means this one should be south. Yeah, sure it is. Look at it moving though, NASCAR. So the energy is just NASCARing through this prong end, through this whole thing, and back through. The interesting thing about this, I want to bring up to you guys' attention, is that this side has a coil. This side has two coils. Now, when you break free this, we don't want to break it free. We want the energy to stay there. But how do we get in there? There's a room here. I call it another layer of the onion. There's another way to tap into this. If the energy is trapped only because the molecules alignment allows the particulars of the molecules of the atoms to be trading electrons from one. Now think about this. This is even better. From one side to the other. This side's laminated. I mean, that's hundreds of laminations. So laminations get rid of eddy currents. So riddle me that. Leave that in your comments. If this was a regular straight piece of steel, then you would have just a connection there, and the energy will be able to jump across and travel around. So it would keep the metal to it. This one's doing it, but it's doing it in a different fashion because it has laminated plates. On top of having 2,000 volt turned coil and sitting on it. If this coil is wound the opposite direction of this coil, or these two coils combined, they're wound opposite. This side is the south bar, south over here. That's probably why this side is north. So the prong end on this side is south. The prong end on this side, the way I designed this side is wound counterclockwise. Produces the south on this side. This coils I wound clockwise, which is, like the Northern Hemisphere hurricanes, produces a north on the head of this one. So therefore that on the transformation, we're going to call this a dipole, because I got a lot of Tesla in me, and Nikola Tesla, that is, not the car. The transformation of energy here has to have a dipole, a nodal point. And you go from the end of this space, becomes a dielectric in between that metal and that metal. The dielectric there is really where the energy is stored in between the two irons at this given moment. It's no longer in the bar. It's it's moving around, but it's no longer in the coils. The coil has no electric in there. The coils in here, everything is if these iron are aligned where the molecules are going to attract each other, these are 90 degrees out from the magnetic field, so the coils will be out of line as well. Once these are no longer in line, because they're not magnets, remember, they're just iron, and this one's laminated plates, hundreds of plates, which gets rid of eddy currents, meaning that the little magnetic fields or little domains, it just doesn't have a big magnetic field. It's tightened more field, but it has a lot trapped inside of it, which is good for here because it creates a difference in potential between this side and that side. That's why the dielectric, that's airspace in between these prong ends, allow this to have enough energy and inertia to hold the weight from this magnet. Stay tuned for my next little, moving on to my Ed Lee Scallon's perpetual motion holders as we continue the build. Happy New Year. Peace, love, Jimi Hendrix. And don't do anything I wouldn't do, and if you do, name it after me. Leave your comments. I went over a lot of stuff. Touch base on a lot of stuff too. I don't give a shit what you say. Just make some damn sense.